What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews, and once again my apologies for falling a little bit behind. I got a huge haul this week. We got a lot of great things coming up. Now, I think I mentioned this in a previous review, when it comes to John Wick, there are two certainties in life. You don't mess around with the man's Mustang, and you definitely don't mess around with his dog. And no spoilers of course, but if you saw the movie John Wick 3, you'll know how awesome the dogs were, particularly the German Shepherds. And then of course, you have Halle Berry's awesomeness, which I'm hoping they're going to make a figure or statue of very soon. Nevertheless, John Wick is an amazing franchise now. It truly is a powerhouse. It's definitely one of my favorite characters, and I hope that we see a lot more merchandise from this franchise, because it is awesome. I do have the Hot Toys version coming very soon, so if you're interested in that review, stay tuned, hit the bell icon, and we will definitely dig into that one. So I don't think I need to elaborate too much on this intro. He's John frickin' Wick. So today we're going to be reviewing Diamond Select Toys' version of John Wick, the second version statue. Let's take a closer look. Now there is so much to unpack here, literally and figuratively. Now, as the first statue was a little bit more stoic, this one is definitely more dynamic. And I also have to admit the head sculpt here fares a lot better. This actually looks a lot more like Keanu Reeves. The diamondism here is incredible. I absolutely love the way that he's kind of jumping or leaping out of that door. A real nice sense of three dimension here. Overall, the head sculpt is done well. I love all the scars and definitely the skin tone. Again, this really does look like Keanu Reeves. Much more improved head sculpt this time around. Just like the previous statue, I did mention that the suit fared a lot better than the head sculpt. Now here, it's a continuation of that wonderful sculpt. And you also have a few design changes, as he was wearing the black and white suit this time around. Now, the sculpt here is fantastic. The subtle intricacy in not only the sculpt of the tie and its creases and the way it contorts the way the body's moving really gives it a nice sense of forward motion. And if you'll notice, there's also a really nice blood stain, which is a bit of a focal point. It is subtle, but you definitely notice it, and it does catch your eye. Okay, for me, this was the ultimate selling point. This is what really turned over this piece for me. It's definitely in the lower section. The stance here is absolutely incredible. The illusion is done so well. If you'll notice, it's only one foot that is attached to the base. The creases and the sculpt in the trousers are amazing, and I just love the fact that he's got one leg slightly off the base, which is fantastic, guys. The shoes and the shoelaces in particular are sculpted very well. This is just so nice, guys. It's so clean, understated, yet it makes a powerful statement. Now I'm a little bit torn here because I absolutely love the way he's holding the gun, and the weapon itself is pretty well sculpted for this price point. Now, one of my subscribers told me that the reason that they had those funky colors like they have here, those red kind of highlights, is a throwback to the 1980s when they used to put red tipped colorings on the weapons or toy guns so kids wouldn't get shot. And I don't understand why they would do that in this statue if that's the reason. It looks completely absurd and really throws off the illusion here. So this is really the only drawback. It looks awesome, but what the hell for? Now this piece is very unique in that it's a diorama in the truest sense of the word. And I do have to highlight what they did here in terms of style and art direction. It looks really cool. The color palette is fantastic, and I have to say, one of the coolest things is the little detail like the fire escape sign looks really awesome. I also love the color palette here because it does break up the monotony of the black and white from the actual figure. Overall, it's done so well, guys, and I have to admit, the door cracking open looks really cool. Now this might actually be a first for the show, but under no circumstances are you to mirror this piece. Now, it's very peculiar because the reverse side does have a significant amount of detail. The door is very nice, and I love the texture of the wall, but it is very bland. And this does look kind of like a bookend for some reason. Now, the reason that I say don't mirror it is because it's going to detract from the front, which you really want to showcase. Now, the base is very interesting, and you can see that they actually put a lot of thought in terms of the overall color palette. When it comes to a character that's all black, the contrast is very important. Too much contrast and you risk alienating the main figure. Not enough contrast and you don't really distinguish it. So I like the fact that they went with this subtle kind of greenish blue color, which is actually pretty realistic in terms of a floor of a hotel or a building. I like the fact that it's a little bit reflective and, most important, very thin profile, which makes it look sleek and awesome. Now this piece is readily available, but nevertheless I'm still going to give it my holy grail seal of approval. Given this price point, the amount of detail, the diamondism, the sculpt in the head, and just the overall cool factor because it's so unique, it definitely earns that moniker. Now before I go, I just want to thank F&B Collectibles Incorporated for sponsoring today's video, and Big Bad Toy Store for sending this wonderful piece over for review. And if you're interested in this and other collectibles, please visit www.bigbadtoystore.com. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Diamond Select Toys' version of John Wick, the second version statue. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.
Did you ever like it, Pam? I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Then it fell apart. It fell apart. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Then it fell apart. It fell apart. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Then it fell apart. It fell apart. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Like it always does. Always does. Street sounds have told me. They held me down every night. I didn't have much to say. I didn't give up the light. I closed my eyes and closed myself and closed my world and